So we're diving into John Maxwell. We're a little about leadership today. I'm a big John Maxwell guy. If y'all are not reading, who's reading right now? Anybody reading? Even if it's a thriller, that's what Tracy always tells me. She's reading thrillers.
I went to the library, haven't started reading yet.
Yeah. I'm a self-development guy, so that's all I don't really have time to do thrillers and so I always go back to self-development, but I just keep coming back to John Maxwell. He's the GOAT of leadership. So first thing is, improvement is a choice. Agree? Yeah, I choose to improve every single day. So this is from John, but it's from his book, Developing the Leader Within. I think he wrote this one in the 80s. Still relevant today. So the first thing is the quote right at the top. When you cease to be better, you cease to be good. When you stop growing, you cease to be useful. A weed in the garden of prosperity. We are what we are today because we were where we were yesterday, and our thoughts today will determine our actions tomorrow. I love that. I think that's awesome. Okay, going right in here. The path from ordinary to extraordinary is improvement. Every day in every way, I get better and better. That's one of John's favorite sayings. If you never listen to him. I think that's one like we should say to ourselves. In every day, in every way, I get better and better. Okay? So these are just 10 improvement insights we're going to run through. So don't be afraid to admit you are wrong. It proves you are wiser today than you were yesterday. This isn't necessarily like, I'm so sorry I messed up. Oh, I'm so wrong. It's more of like recalibrating wrong. Like what I thought was working isn't. We need to shift. And that's wisdom, right? So don't be afraid to admit you are wrong. It proves you're wiser today than you were yesterday. If you never admit you're wrong, you're saying, I'm not growing, I'm not wiser. Also says, I don't care. I don't care if I was wrong. Also says, I'm selfish. Like there's a whole lot that goes into that. This to me, when he says wiser, to me this says maturity. I know we have a plan, we're working a plan, we look at it, but it's like we gotta adapt, we gotta shift, okay? So number 2, you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. You cannot change your life until you change something daily. The change in your life is determined about the change you make today. I've been harping on the same things for the last 22 days because I'm still in New Year mode. I thought about playing the, what's the song they play at midnight whenever the ball drops?
Auld Lang Syne.
Yeah, Auld Lang Syne, that's what you say, how you say it? Because every day can be New Year's. It's in our agenda and in our daily lives that we get to make that choice. So I'm still on the New Year thing. We've been talking about schedules, but the secret to your success and my success is in our daily agenda. Who is doing something different daily the last 22 days, 2024, that they did, that they are really proud of, or that they wanted to do? Like, who still got it? Jason talked about your Bible recap.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's awesome. I love that.
Awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, anybody else have something they've kept up with all year?
Yeah.
Bible of the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Michael, what was yours?
Real estate, just keeping up with the calls.
That's huge,
Like,
though.
on the way to office, I listen to like other people live cold calling. It kind of gets me in the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing other people do it, and then you walk in, you're like, I can do it if that guy can do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Plus, it helps you a little bit with scripts and whatnot. Anybody have anything else they've done for the last 22 days?
Showing up to work.
It is the 24th, sorry. Showed up to work. I love that. Okay, number 3, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. Man, I harp on this way too much. I'm sure y'all are tired of me talking about this. Identify the areas where growth is essential to your success. So we've all got that. We're not saying anything we want. I'm not even going to harp on this because I keep asking you guys to track it. But if you don't know where your numbers are, your numbers will tell a story. They're either going to say, am I winning or am I failing? If you worked for IBM in corporate America in downtown big city and you're on the 16th floor, they're going to literally be measuring what you do every day. This is no different. You need to act as if you work a corporate job where if you don't produce your numbers, you will be gone. Because you'll be gone in one way or another, unless you just got that trust fund, and I don't think that's anybody in this room. If you do, we need to talk about buying more real estate. This side's laughing now. Gosh, this is a tough crowd, push hard. Okay, number 4, set realistic expectations for your improvement. We talked about smarter goals, realistic. Everybody knows that one, right? But it's important to never ask people to try to accomplish goals they can't accept. What can you tackle in a day? Because whatever you tackle today, you need to be able to tackle tomorrow and the next day and so forth. So you got to get down to there because that's where the compounding comes from. All about the domino, all about the compounding, all about the snowball. What can I do today that I can commit to tomorrow, that I can commit to Thursday, that I can commit to Friday, and then so forth. I will say, I told this to Jason yesterday because he has a lofty goal and he was ready to bring his goals down to a different level. That last week was National Quitters Day. It's the day where statistically everybody quits the gym membership or they quit the resolution that they scheduled for them, that they made for themselves.
It's true.
It is true.
It's been empty the past couple of days.
Yeah, it's always empty at 6 a.m. by the way. Like when you go early enough. But yeah, so National Quitters Day.
And it's
But-
nice because
You know what I think happens with the resolutions though? Instead of talking about daily small changes that we can control, that we can tackle every day, we go, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds
tomorrow.
And that's the world we live in, right? Like, why is Bashar not texting me back? Why is he not calling me back? It's been 3 minutes. We live in that world where if it doesn't happen right now, I give up. Realistic. Okay, so John talks about reading. He says if you want to read more, and that's your goal, you say, hey, I want to read more this year. Instead of saying, I'm going to read 36 books, what do you think John says you need to do?
One book.
Even further down, he goes, why don't you read 2 chapters, 1 chapter a day, and you commit to what you can tackle. So whatever you're committing to, can you tackle it? We're really hard on ourselves. And I'm really hard on me. So that probably trickles down to you guys. Talked about emotions this morning. I think Carrie said the older I've gotten, the worse my emotions. I just don't care. I don't mean for it to be that way. It's just, we're just hard on ourselves. Let's set realistic expectations so we can set ourselves up to win. Okay? Continual change is essential for continual improvement. What got me here won't get me there. Cece's been interviewing with me, and she said yesterday she was asked if she liked change. She's like, I can do change. Change doesn't bother me. But just, do you know somebody, or maybe yourself, that you're like, I don't do change well. Anybody a planner, scheduler, and then when your plan or your schedule is thrown off, that you're just thrown off? I could even be that way. So I'm a big vacationer. My wife loves to travel, but I don't want a vacation without a plan. So I am Mr. Reservations. I'm Mr. Schedule the car. I'm like, or this hotel. This is how close the hotel is to here. If we have to walk, maybe we can catch this bar that has great cocktails on the way back if the weather's nice. Like that, I'm spending so much time. But you know what I've realized? And this is something we've heard years ago, but I'm still guilty of it. I spend more time planning my vacations than I do my goals, dreams, and my life. Because I don't want anything to change out of that. It's this one thing I just hold in this box. Right? So the things you do, things that got you here, seldom will get you there. So change. Can you adapt? Can something throw a wrench in your day and you're like, no biggie, I'm still going to go and tackle what I can tackle. Okay? So number 6, motivation gets you started, habits keep you going. So habits turn to actions into attitudes, and attitudes turn into lifestyles. Why? Why do habits turn actions into attitudes? Results. Am I winning? Well, is that not going to affect your attitude? And if you're winning, does your attitude and your winning lifestyle not change? Or am I losing? And is that not going to affect your attitude? Okay? Life's goals are reached by setting annual goals. Annual goals are reached by setting daily goals. Daily goals are reached by doing things that may be uncomfortable at first, but eventually become habits, and habits are powerful things. I am very big into what can I control. I can control my reactions. How does that person make me feel? Do I let that come in? Right? I've been over this before. My reactions will then determine my energy, and my energy will then determine my attitude. Well, if I've got proper habits of hitting the gym every day, making my calls every day, reading my Bible every day, Those are great habits that are going to give me great energy, that are going to lead to an attitude that's going to lead to a great lifestyle. Okay, number 7, we overestimate what we can do in a month, we underestimate what we can do in a year. I've heard this many different ways. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, we underestimate what we can do in 5 years or in a decade. We are infatuated with big and fast. We say, I can do this much in this short amount of time, but we forget that it's about what we compound that gets us to the ultimate goal. Daily efforts. I do 100 pounds on the squat today. I do 102.5 tomorrow. I do 105. Let's try 115. You know what, Bashar? What if we do 150? Now up to 200. I gradually hit the marks. And then you look up and it's like, Bashar just squatted 350. He even has that bum knee, but he worked his way up, right? So we overestimate. Anybody else overestimate? And this comes back to, it comes back to all of these. It really comes back to me of being hard on myself. I can do that, no problem. We're all in an entrepreneur spirit here. So is anybody here a control freak? Just me and Leslie? Cool.
Don't point me out. That's
Don't point me out. Don't call me out.
Everybody knows, so I don't have
Yeah,
to tell you.
look, you have to know and be able to admit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a control freak. Why are we control freaks? Because if I do it, I'm to blame.
It gives you a false sense of security.
It gives me a false sense of security that nobody's as good as me. Can I be real with you? My name is on the door. Does anybody in here want me to do their transaction coordination?
No. No. Sorry, I said that a little aggressive.
You did, that's what you
Sorry.
But there's a whole lot of us that have just call it the transaction coordination of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? We want to hold on to that. We overestimate it because if I can hold it, then I have nobody to blame. At the same time, this goes back to the quote, we judge others by their directions, we judge ourselves by our intentions. I was gonna cook dinner, I really meant to, I was gonna eat healthy, I was gonna meal prep, I had the best intentions, Nina. But instead I drove through. And even though you think you drove through healthy, you still got a ton of the wrong oils and the wrong carbs and the wrong.
Unless you got a tropical smoothie.
But so we overestimate what we can do in 1 month. We underestimate what we can do for the year. This comes back to what we said before of compounding, right? So number 8. Oh, here's what I just read that. Number 8, focus. William James, noted psychologist, said, "If you would be rich, you will be rich. If you want to be good, you will be good. If you would be learned, you will be learned. But wish for one thing exclusively, and don't at the same time wish for 100 other incompatible things just as strongly. Be specific about what you want and what you are focusing on." I thought about bringing up a demonstration, but has anybody ever pushed a wheelbarrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pushed a wheelbarrow? Who has not pushed a wheelbarrow on here before? You've never pushed a wheelbarrow.
Michael.
Johnny, take me to the farm. Let's imagine the tease. So a wheelbarrow has one wheel. It's got one wheel. It's got like a bucket with those stuff. It's got 2 handles.
Yeah.
And the wheel's in the middle. So if you don't have 2 hands on it, it tips.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my wheelbarrow. Okay? I can't physically push 2 wheelbarrows. It just physically doesn't work. This is us in our lives. Why am I failing? Well, what am I focused on? Am I trying to push 2 wheelbarrows? Anybody a pet owner? Yep. Anybody have a rabbit before?
Yes.
Anybody ever had to chase the rabbit?
Yes.
Everybody ever had to chase a doodle? Kind of the same.
Yeah.
You ever tried to chase a dog chasing a rabbit? Doodle. So you got 2 out there, you're trying to catch both of them. Just can't do it.
Y'all have a rabbit?
No, but it's for the demonstration.
Okay.
You can't chase 2 rabbits is the idea. Be specific about what you want. Okay, so this comes back to we as people have, this is more self-development goals. This is not about your real estate goals. In your self-development goals, you should have your personal. In here, you should probably have underneath personal should be kind of financial, relationships, friendships, right? But you know, the only way to get personal goals is by doing what?
Getting personal.
Getting personal, yeah, no. It's by winning in other areas of your life. So your personal, of course, has to be in order, but your work, your health, so that you're gonna have to pick one thing of all of these that you're gonna really focus on and go after that, because it's gonna all trickle down. You don't hire somebody that's dealing with the 4 Ds. Anybody know what those are? Drugs, drunk, divorce, death, or depression. That's a hiring tip. It's not a firing tip. That's a hiring tip. I'm not saying I would fire somebody for this. You don't get into business with somebody that suffers with the 4 Ds. Why? Because they're gonna derail. They're gonna derail what you've built. You also, we add in one more, and I told this to Cece, we have dinner with her husband tomorrow. You don't get into business with somebody if it seems like their home life is crazy. Home life comes into work life. Health, if somebody is in terrible health, they can't perform in the job. If your health in your work, or your health in your home, and your health, you see how these all intertwine? So you have to say, what am I gonna focus on to make sure that these things are all in alignment? Number 9, spend 80% of your time working on your strengths. Okay, here's some kicker. This was huge for me when John said this one. People don't pay for average. How many of you guys love to go to an average restaurant and get an average experience and just leave there and be like, I hate it. I hate it so much. When somebody recommends a restaurant where it's just mediocre, I'm like, what a waste of $25 I'm about to spend. It better be a good company. Do you pay for average?
No.
I don't pay for average. I hate it. I hate it. But you have to work on your strengths. You have to stay where your gifts and your abilities are. This is why I don't do the transaction coordination, because it's not my strength. But the other kicker is this: 2 weak areas that will hurt you are self-discipline and your attitude. These 2 can derail you. You see, if you can have all the skills and strengths of the world, but you lack self-discipline or you have a bad attitude, you'll literally self-sabotage yourself. Jason had a terrible Monday. He had some things happen on Tuesday. It was a better day, but he had a terrible Monday. And then he got a message that kind of threw him off this morning, and I'm just not allowing him to self-sabotage.
On a roll, baby.
And that's literally what the 3 people around you did too. So you surround yourself with matters, right? Discipline, attitude. Okay?
You become who you surround yourself with.
That's right.
Big time.
So you have to ask yourself continually, is what I'm doing today getting me closer to my goal for tomorrow? Comes back to, can I tackle it? Is what I'm doing today getting me closer to tomorrow? Can I tackle what needs to be done? Any ahas? Any of these, like, I love this one over this one? Yeah, Mike, what do you got?
I love something you said that's not even on here. We judge others by their direction, but we judge ourselves by our intention.
Yeah, direction, not intention, will lead to destination,
Yeah.
is the quote.
So
But
good.
it is true.
Yeah.
Here's what we do. We also do this with people we love. We judge them even more by their direction than we even do random strangers. Random stranger bumps into you, wrecks, let's say they wreck your, like you hit them in a car wreck. Are you okay? Oh my gosh, what's important is that we're okay. Screw the car. But you have a child that's 16 or 17, gets in a wreck, and you're like, you don't ever appreciate anything I give you.
Yep.
Or your spouse that literally, like, you know, hits a hole out of the car door into the wall, whatever, I'm making stuff up. They do that, and you're like, you never pay attention. Right? But when it's you, you're like, oh, the door, the wind, the thing.
I didn't mean to. Yep.
I didn't mean to. Right? You only have, so you only have one life, right? And you have to determine where you want to go. And little, every single day things will get you where you want to go. It's not going to be jumping to the gym, hitting the Stairmaster, as hard as that may be, with a bodysuit on of trash bags to sweat out 15 pounds because you're going to Mexico in 3 days. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how we live our lives. But Steve Jobs, I just love Steve Jobs, probably because he's not around. But Steve Jobs wore the same turtleneck every day, and he worked on the same things every day, and eventually you had the iPhone. That was not something that just happened. Eventually you had Pixar, and it was like just slowly things. Okay? All right. Any other ahas?
Something I've been working on this year is, it goes back to your number 8, focus. I've been great in the past about putting too much on my plate. I think we all can attest, to that in our own personal lives. And really narrowing down, okay, what do I have to get done? Like, what are my 3 main things I've got to get done today?
Yeah, your big rocks.
And make sure that those get done. And then if other things happen, that's great. If not, then that's great too.
Yeah.
But to really not overload. I can get 20 things done in 10 minutes. Sure, no big deal. I can't. I can't multitask like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been trying to also take what you said earlier this year is basics.
Back to basics.
What's our foundation? So if you want to talk about these, you know what these are? These are life pillars.
Yeah.
Why do we call them pillars? Because they hold up our lives. Right here. If we didn't have these poles right here, they would be sagging. Any other ahas?
You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really changing anything every single day. What is something I can do daily?
I think it's like you have to make a change to do it daily.
Yes.
And like your mentality adjustment counts as a change.
Yeah, it's the 1% better mentality, but it doesn't have to be like a change of something, but it could be like, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more reps.
You can't change it for a week and think that it's gonna have this huge impact.
That's
You have
right.
to change it.
Good to change
every
it.
day.
Good to
Well,
add my legs to
like
the power of
writing
1
your
more.
affirmation on your bathroom mirror with the
Yeah.
expo and like,
Okay.
talking like attitude, self-talk.
Yeah, that is about compound interest. And it's also comes back to number 1. It's not saying you're wrong, it's saying I need to adjust. Can't change the wind, but you can adjust the sails, quote. But yeah, that's why they just talk about secrets in your daily agenda. Just a little like, am I really hammering my schedule? Because I can go to the gym. Do you ever go to the gym and do this one? You stand right next to the equipment. You're like, I'm just gonna get my song. Just gonna get my podcast. Oh, I got a message. Got an Instagram. It's been 7 minutes. Now maybe you wake up early enough where you can take this, but it's like that compounds. 7 minutes of that to come into the office, to 7 minutes of talking to your neighbor, to 7 minutes of coffee, you've blown an hour and a half of your day, and then you're like, why did I not get anything done today? It's just little bitty things that compound.
I know this isn't for everybody and like I'm to get off my lawn running, but that's why I deleted social media.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm so tired of all the garbage from all different sides of things, and like, I've been more productive, I've been a happier person,
Yeah.
I daily haven't looked at social media.
You turned into get on my lawn, Johnny.
Yeah.
Come to my lawn.
Come lay on my grass, have a picnic.
Yeah. To add on to that, I try to post a lot on social media, so I can't really delete it. What I've gone into every app and turned off the notifications.
Yeah.
Nothing will pop up on my phone until after 5 p.m. That's helped a ton, kind of like what you did.
Police do that to everybody.
I post all day.
Yeah.
I post and I post and I post, but I don't get on there and surf. Like,
And that's the difference, is that like, for me, it wasn't
Yeah.
good, but for
Yeah.
y'all, like, it's part of what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 or 2 more people. What was your top one here?
I'm gonna hit on the you can't manage what you can't measure.
Yep.
And so there's a planning system called Win by Noon that is out there. It started in lending, and then he put out a realtor version, but I'm partially cheap and partially like I think I can do everything myself. So I created my own based off of that.
Love it.
Where I'm measuring, your database calls, your community partner calls, writing down quality conversations, putting in those new leads, your top 3 like you're talking about. Was I proactive or reactive today? And just since I've been using that and just truly like looking, and I'm happy to share, it's not perfect. If you want it, I'll send you the Canva doc, you can have it and
That's
tweak
awesome.
it however you want to, but,
Yeah.
since I've been using that, I have really felt like at the end of the day, I can look back and say, man, today was a good day. Like I actually got some stuff done today. So even just taking, hey, I talked to that lender today, or I sent 75 texts, you know, and, so that's that's been, I mean, I appreciate that portion of it because it just reminds me, like, keep at it, it's gonna
Yeah.
work.
Well, if you don't measure it, you can never know if you're winning. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just never know if you're winning.